25 summers. So, you mentioned something about two young brothers that were incarcerated and had a lot of time by the name of Terry and Face. You care to tell us about them?
Yeah, I had two good little homies, man. They became good personal friends of mine. One Terry, right? He got sentenced to 28 28 years and a half to life for a double murder charge, right? He was like maybe 20 years old. Um,
Where was he from?
he was from Queens, New York, and he had a good family, mom, sister, brother. And but then after a couple of years, 3 years went by, like this family realized that this time wasn't going nowhere. His appeals options was out the window, man. So they just completely abandoned him, man. They stopped writing him. They stopped sending him packages, food packages that we could receive, 35 pounds a month, canned goods, perishable items, stuff like that. They stopped giving him all of that. So he's sank into what you call the bad man's dream of the penitentiary, where he started doing all kinds of off things to survive, to take care of himself. For an example, um, he would, sneak thief and steal out of guys' cells while they was at program. Throw his line in there, throw a little broomstick in there, steal a pair of sneakers, steal a couple of shirts, a few bars of soap, things like that that he can take and he can have because he wasn't getting nothing from society no more. He felt like all ends well ends. He's in the penitentiary from now, and he sees the next foreseeable years, so he won't be 50, 60 years old by the time he get out. So he was robbing, stealing, and he was doing things like that to survive. And no one can really fault him, man. No, sure, it wasn't the right way to do it, but he continued to do this for a while until he got caught. And then he got caught one time in Kasaki, which is in Catskills, New York. He got caught in that facility, sneak thieving. He stole like maybe 20 bars of soap, like two pairs of sneakers out of one guy's cell. That limited down, knew a few people up there, found out who was working, who was the porter, who had access to his cell whenever he was on the program. And then he laid on the guy, man, and then he just gave him the bloodbath, man, with the knife, man. He stabbed him repeatedly, 6, 7 times, sent the guy to emergency infirmary, never seen him no more, word that we got from the officers is that he was rushed to outside hospital and then he didn't make it and he succumbed to his stab wounds and he died. Then I had another good close friend that I met later on named Face, good young brother too, out of Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn. He had got 37 years to life, and he was 22 years old. And he, as well, he resulted to a lot of other things, and in a different light. Well, for example, he he would be the type of guy, since he had no family, no packages, no visits, no income, no anything. He would be the type of guy that would walk out to the yard and he would see the different, demographic sets like Bloods, Crips, Muslims, 5%ers, Rat Hunters, Latin Kings, and he would go up to certain individuals in these different sectors and he'd be like, yo, man, you know, like y'all, you got any beef with this guy right here? You know, and they, a lot of times they do have beef with him. He might be a blood, and then the Latin King dude might have the beef with him, and he doesn't want to do anything to him, but it starts a full-scale war in there. So Face was one of the dudes that'll go to the Latin King and was like, well, listen, you get your woman from the outside to, send me a money order for like $200-300 and put that in my account. Once I get the pink slip, verifies I got the money, then Face will be or turn into an automatic hitman. He will go out in the yard and he will blindside the kid that had the beef and he will cut him in the face with a razor, give him about 150 stitches. Guy got to be emergency ran out of the place or he's going to bleed out, bleed to death. And Face would do that, get caught, and go to SHU, and off to the next facility, man. And this is how he lived his life with 37 years to do, man, at 21 years old, with no family, nobody showing him no love.
So, would you say people with more time with nothing to lose are more reckless than people with short time, or is it equal along the lines of survival? Like, just because you have a little bit of time, you still have to survive, or you might not get out. Like, how does that work out with Or is it like, are people scared of lifers
Mm.
versus the guy who only has 10 years? Like, how does that
Yeah,
work?
I thought that at one time, to answer the top of the question, I thought that at one time that maybe the guy that came in with a lot of time had more nothing to lose, had the more attitude, like he didn't care, he'll wreak havoc, he'll fight, he'll stab, he'll do whatever it was because that was a factor. He wasn't going home no time. Opposed to the guy that come through with maybe a 1 year to a 3 year sentence, and you would think that maybe he'll be more scared, more chill out, more don't want to get into any problems or anything because he's a short timer and he's on his way home. Until midway in 1990s, when the penitentiary system completely flipped and it became just the opposite. They was having these guys coming in with these 1 to 3s, 2 to 4s, 3 to 6s, and they was wreaking more havoc than a brother that had 25 years to life. And I witnessed it with my own eyes. A few guys, he come in with a 3 to 6, and he would be involved in stabbings in the yard. He would be involved in multiple riots. He would be involved in police altercation, fights with the officers, assaults on the officers. And these guys is only doing skid bids. But the attitude changed in the mid 90s at the same time that the organizations started forming and shaping, such as the Blood organizations and the Crips organizations. And when these things was introduced into the penitentiary, then the criteria of time guys coming in changed dramatically.